and Clay out there. But they did play against the Memphis Grizzlies today. And Lee, I know you wanted to discuss Jar and the Grizzlies because they are currently on a 10-game winning streak. How seriously are we taking them?
We're going to have to start taking them seriously. We were saying just off air then, I think they'll be one of the most dangerous teams to come up in the playoffs. They're incredibly well coached. We know of the run they went on without Ja Morant, who's their best player. A young team to be ahead of schedule. They didn't add anyone over the off-season, and to make this leap as they did is quite extraordinary. They had Dylan Brooks as a big part of their team. He's an on-ball defender and he takes on the tougher perimeter assignments, so very exciting to have him. But Ja Morant, I mean, this guy, we talked about him possibly being one of the best point guard, in the NBA in a few years' time, and he's probably looking at an All-NBA spot the way he's running. And I've almost done a backflip on players. I think I said to you, Pock, I don't really like when players that are top lottery picks essentially win most improved player because I expect them to be most improved. I almost done a backflip on that. I think Ja Morant is most improved in the way of being able to lead a team to playoffs because we've seen so many young stars who are put in that position at Jason Tatum and can't do it. And I think that to make that leap, to be a leader, to make those around you better, to be, I guess, loved by your teammates who want to play with you, and you see he's generally making players around him. I think he's almost unguardable. Ja Morant, when he drives at the rim, I mean, yeah. So I'm very excited for the Memphis Grizzlies to see him. He's becoming people's favourite player, and I'm just to see the team ahead of their schedule. I think it's very exciting for people involved, and you guys would have to be overly impressed with how he's played this year, surely.
Haywood?
Yeah, well, definitely. And I think you touched on it there. The weird thing is that, they've truly made that leap, the leap that normally takes adding someone else to the roster, and they've done it without doing that and with sometimes missing their star player. So they must be incredibly well coached. I don't even know who the Memphis
Taylor
coach
Jenkins.
is. Taylor Jenkins. Like to think he'd be up there for coach of the year at the end of the season.
Yeah. Yeah, I did a bit of investigating on Jar's game and actually wrote an article for Hoops Habit that got published this morning, Australian time. And I think when we look at his game, he's come into the league and he's obviously got freakish athleticism. We all know about that. That's the trademark of his game. And I think a lot of people look at the three-point shooting as the massive improvement so far this season. He's got up to about 38% shooting from three. But when I actually looked at his game, it's not actually the freakish athleticism at the rim or the three-point shooting that is bearing the fruits of those two aspects. It's actually, if you look at the statistics, it's between 3 and 10 feet where he's actually increased the percentage of shots that he's taking from that area quite substantially and also improved the efficiency from that area. And I wrote in the article, I think he's the poster boy for the floaters, I guess, which I think is a really underrated shot in the NBA, especially if you're a point guard like Ja, who, I didn't look up how many pick and rolls he runs per game, but with Steven Adams and Jaren Jackson Jr. and these types, he's a pick and roll player essentially. And with the ability to get downhill and get to the rim, the ability for him to almost pivot and then finish with little floaters and kind of flip and push shots from between 3 and 10 feet, and how effective he is in that area is something I think that goes under the radar, given we see the insane highlight dunks and stuff like that, and then the improved three-point shooting. As I said, he's up to 38% this season. But how seriously, if you're looking at the Grizzlies, Lee, where can they get to in the Western Conference come playoff time?
Oh, gee. Well, they're fourth seed at the moment, and I wouldn't be surprised if they stay in that fourth seed. But in terms of reliable star power, I know exactly what I'm going to get from Ja Morant. Desmond Bane is having an incredible season. Quite a well-rounded guy, but I'm absolutely sure he's going to be able to do that come playoffs when he's got a team that's zeroed in on him. They know that they'll be able to put a scouting report all together for him. I mean, Ja Morant, you saw him against Utah last year. He had 47 in him. I think it was his first game of the playoffs or his second game, something crazy. I don't know what I get from him, but surefire, superpower. That was what I'm probably just nervous about. So longer than first round, I can't really see past first round. But it'd be a good learning experience. You guys would agree, surely. You wouldn't really see them getting any further in the first round, maybe.
I could see them get to the second round, not win in the second round, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see them getting to the second round. I think a lot of people on Twitter and even you guys said off air that you'd be scared playing against them. And maybe I'm a bit salty as a Warriors fan after today's game where we obviously went down by 8. But I kind of went from today's game and just thought, okay, the margin was 3 with less than 2 minutes to go. We were up for a good portion of the third quarter and early in the fourth. And we have Clay on a minutes restriction of 20 minutes. Come playoff time, you're hoping he's playing 32 to 35. There's no Draymond Green. Tyus Jones goes 5 of 5 from 3-point range. That ain't going to happen. And Ja played out of his skin again, and he has a lot of times against the Warriors. Gary Payton was able to do a reasonable job on him at times in that game, but I just look at that game and think, yeah, I don't have any concerns with facing the Grizzlies in a 7-game series at this point this season. I just think when you get to it, if the Warriors were to play the Grizzlies, I think, fully healthy, you got Ja Morant and a bunch of good, young, promising players, but they're still kind of role players in the league versus the talent of Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, these types. I don't know. I'm not too scared of them, but maybe I'm just a salty Warriors fan